utility company and they say, oh, we need to collect some fees. And one big warning sign here, right, when you see something like that, if they're super urgent, like you have to pay us in the next 3 days, right, that is a big warning sign. But yeah, the invoice scam, they're like, hey, we're from the utility company, you owe us $55, we need this payment right now. Big warning sign.
All right, the prepaid credit or debit card scam.
Yeah, so this is when you're asked to make a payment to a utility or another company, and they're not real, right? And they're saying, hey, you use a prepaid credit or debit card to pay us. That's how we want to get paid. That's a warning sign because those are harder to trace, right? So if you're all of a sudden getting something and they're saying, we need you to pay via money order or prepaid credit debit card, well, watch out.
Yeah. We're speaking with Katie Hill, editor at MarketWatch. She's written a piece entitled 4 Costly Scams Targeting Older People That You Should Know About But Probably Don't. How about that romance scam?
Yeah, this one's so sad. This is you get wooed romantically online and then ask for money. I mean, we see this, people who watch, there's the Catfish show, and we sort of see it on TV, but this is happening a lot to older people, especially because as we get, people get into their 80s, maybe their spouse has died, they're feeling very lonely, so they're very susceptible to this scam, and then ask for money. They start sending it thinking, oh, the person cares about me. Yeah. It's really sad.
The pigeon drop scam.
Yeah, I never heard of it phrased like this, but this is when, you're told a considerable sum of money was found, and we can share it with you. Just, send us $4 up front or $20 up front. So that's called the pigeon drop scam.
That's crazy. I had the IRS one called to my work line one time. And he asked for that payment with, I think specifically with a Target gift card.
Right.
Yeah,
no, that's a whole thing, right? You're like, that seems suspicious. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Most other people do know about the IRS scam, the lottery scam where they claim you've won the lottery. A lot of these charity scams are more familiar to people. The Social Security scam, that's a big one right now. I feel like they've tried to call me about 16 times about how my Social Security number, blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of these. But yeah, I mean, the scary part of this, right, is that, criminals are getting more savvy, right? They have email, they have phone. Like, it used to, always be like an email from a far-off country, and the words didn't even make sense, right? Now it's like they really do seem legit often.
Yeah, and the websites. I mean, you got to be mindful of these things, too.
Yeah, this is interesting. So a lot of times they'll fake a website, right? So let's say I'll use my last name. If let's say a retailer's name is Hill, the legitimate site might be Hill.com. The fraudulent site might be doing something really small, like just add an S, so Hills.com. And you might not notice it if you're just kind of glancing. You're like, oh, that's the legit website. I'll just click right through it. Just something so subtle like that.
Thanks, Katie. Katie Hill, MarketWatch editor. It is 30 minutes now after the hour on This Morning, America's First News. This Morning with Gordon Deal podcast is brought to you by Privacy.com. For me, shopping online with Privacy.com is safer. How? By using Privacy.com's virtual credit or debit cards. They protect my identity and bank info when shopping online. Remember the recent theft of financial data of millions of online shoppers from a very large online retailer? Privacy.com's virtual accounts are held to the same security standards as your bank. It's PCI DSS compliant, which makes info online secure with military-grade encryption. Privacy.com can also help you take control of your finances by setting spending limits for when you tend to order too much takeout, or by monitoring recurring payments or subscriptions. Head to privacy.com/Gordon to sign up and start shopping. As a special treat for our listeners, new customers will automatically get $5 to spend on your first purchase. Yep, that's free money to use on any online purchase. Go to privacy.com/GORDON and sign up now.
Catch America's First News online anytime at thismorningwithgordondeal.com.
Glad you're with us. It is Tuesday, October 1. Gordon Deal, Jennifer Kashenka, some of our top stories and headlines. New York Congressman Chris Collins has resigned, expected to plead guilty today to insider trading charges. Snow in the west, record heat possible in the southeast. S&P 500 has its best first 3 quarters of a year since 1997. Last day for Democrats to qualify for the October presidential debate. Steelers over the Bengals in Monday Night Football. Wild card baseball this evening, Brewers and Nationals. And the Air Force sergeant who helped a choking baby. That story in about 20 minutes. Gun control advocates in Florida are mobilizing behind an ambitious aim to pass a ban on semi-automatic rifles with high-capacity magazines for the first time in a Republican-controlled state. Promoting the effort are survivors and relatives of victims of the 2018 school shooting in Parkland that killed 17 people and the 2016 Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando that killed 49. Can it make next year's ballot? Here's Wall Street Journal reporter Ariane Campo-Flores from Florida. Ariane, explain.
This is an effort to get an initiative on the ballot in 2020. It would be a proposed constitutional amendment. And what it would do is ban the sale of semi-automatic rifles, AR-15 style rifles, which have been used in many of the mass shootings that we've seen in recent years, that carry high-capacity magazines, more than 10 bullets. So this is aimed at, these what are deemed assault-style weapons with like 30-round magazines, 100-round magazines, the ones that allow shooters to just, unleash a fury of bullets without having to take the time to stop and reload and switch out magazines.
All right, so what are the chances that this gets on the ballot next year?
Well, it's a very arduous process to do this in Florida. It has been done. It's been done in some very high-profile instances in recent years. There was a successful effort to get an amendment passed that restored voting rights to some felons. There was another one that involved medical marijuana. So it can be done, but it's a costly effort, and it's an intensive effort. You have to get more than 766,000 signatures gathered, and they have to be across the state. They can't be concentrated in just one region. It has to be across congressional districts. You have to get the ballot language approved by the Florida Supreme Court, which that is under review now for this weapons ban initiative. The Supreme Court, since the start of the year, has become more conservative in Florida. The incoming Republican governor appointed 3 new justices to it, and they all are conservative, so they've changed the makeup of the court. And then you just have the history that Florida has. I mean, for this to pass in Florida would be the first time a Republican-controlled state were to do so. This is a state that has a history of being quite pro-gun, having few gun restrictions passed, and it's also home to one of the most powerful lobbyists for the National Rifle Association in the U.S.
The 766,000 signatures for this initiative are due when? Is there a deadline?
Yeah, the deadline is February 1st of next year, so they still have about, another 4 or 5 months to do that. And they need to make up some considerable. They need to make significant advances, because right now they've only gathered about 106,000.
Okay.
So whatever that is, like 15%, 20%.
We're speaking with Ariane Campo-Flores, reporter at the Wall Street Journal. His piece is called "In Florida: Push for Strict New Gun Ban." The National Rifle Association would say what in opposition to this measure?
They would say that it's unconstitutional. They would say it's a violation of the Second Amendment. This is what they are saying. They're saying that this is poor policy, that passing something like this isn't going to stop mass shootings like the ones we've seen. And so they have come out in opposition. The lobbyist that I mentioned has already sort of issued a call to arms to folks, saying, that their Second Amendment rights were at risk, and she's getting ready to mobilize folks. So if this indeed advances and seems like it's has a real shot at winning, you can expect to see significant mobilizing among gun rights groups.
Thanks, Ariane. Ariane Campo-Flores, reporter for the Wall Street Journal in Florida. 20 minutes now in front of the hour on This Morning, America's First News. Thanks for being with us. Welcome into Tuesday. Beyond the headlines now, this morning's Mike Gavin is here with a look at some of the other stories you'll be talking about this morning.
Good morning. Well, you can forgive bleary-eyed travelers for thinking they might have been seeing things when they peered out the window at Chicago's O'Hare Airport yesterday and saw an out-of-control airport vehicle spinning wildly in circles. According to reports, the catering cart, which resembles a very large golf cart packed with in-flight meals, was serving an American Airlines flight. Video of the incident was shot by someone inside the terminal and has since gone viral with nearly 6.5 million views. In the video, the cart spins around uncontrollably while workers try to get it under control. The cart then begins to spin dangerously close to a parked plane when one of the workers uses another piece of airport equipment to ram the cart and finally bring it to a halt, to the cheers of the onlookers in the terminal. Preliminary reports from American Airlines indicate that the accelerator on the cart became stuck. Thankfully, nobody was injured.
Wow.
It was quite the scene there.
I didn't see it. I can imagine that's pretty scary.
Yeah, well, because I guess the scary part, was it started to spin closer to a plane that was parked right there. Every time it spun, it got a little bit closer and a little bit closer until finally someone, got into another vehicle of some kind and crashed into it and knocked
is that
it
what
over.
happened? They rammed it?
Yeah. So somebody else rammed it because everyone else was kind of standing around like they were thinking, should we try and grab it? Should we try and, what should we do? And everyone's kind of huddled around it and not sure what to do. And this other guy came in and saved the day.
It's like a wild bull.
Yes.
What are we going to do with this thing?
That's what it was.
Right?
Yeah, it was very much like a wild bull.
It's tremendous physical danger involved here.
Yes.
I would definitely volunteer for the ramming part, though.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be tremendous fun.
Yeah, and that guy, I'm sure, got all kinds of drinks bought for him last night.
Oh,
and
sure.
So, that guy had a good day.
But just hopping behind the wheel of that.
Yeah,
and look to intentionally cause, like a fairly slow speed crash.
Right.
That would be.
Yeah, it's not something you get to do at the airport every day. Is crash into something.
I would pay to do that.
And, Gordon, it should have been a day to remember for a man who went to a concert in the UK, but he managed to forget one very important thing, where he parked his car. According to Fox News, 19-year-old Connor Spear drove 2 hours from his home in Plymouth to attend the Tokyo World Music Festival in Bristol and had to park on a public street about a 10-minute taxi ride from the event on September 22nd. But after the show, Spear and his friends couldn't remember exactly where they left the car. After finally hitching a ride home and needing to walk to work all week, Spear, with his mother, spent this past weekend driving around Bristol looking for the car, still to no avail. Whoa. Spear said he recalled parking it across the street from a row of bushes, but several sightings reported to him by people on social media haven't panned out. He also doesn't believe that it was towed. Spears is offering a £100 reward for information that leads to its return.
That's crazy. You would think like after a few hours, when all other cars have left, perhaps,
or perhaps when you sober up the next day or whatever in the daylight and everything. No, it's a week later, over a week later, and they still haven't found it yet.
That's something. Normally in those situations, like if football game at a large stadium with a huge parking lot like MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, I will take a picture of the parking lot sign. Where am I closest to? E5, something like that.
Right. Well, that's what his mother said in this story. His mother's like he's like it's a young kid. And he didn't take a picture.
Needed to take a picture of the street sign that was nearby. Yeah. He did not do that.
Yes. Needless to say, she is not happy with him.
What about doesn't Apple provide a function on your phone like the parked car update or something like that?
Or Google Maps, if you park, will tell you where you parked. But I guess he did none of those things.
Okay.
He just ran off to the show.
More beer.
Yes.
Thanks, Mike. 13 minutes in front of the hour.
Now that Human Resources VP Ashley Campbell has Kronos for HR, payroll, talent, and time, she's managing her workforce like a rock star. She even has her own hype song.
I'm the spark before the fire. I'm the power in the train. I
have a really diverse workforce with different hours, skill sets, and pay grades.
Don't stop. I'm the dream and you should know that.
Now we're motivating and engaging the right people every step of the way.
Kronos, HR solutions for the modern workforce and the people who support them. Learn more at kronos.com/HR swagger.
Thanks for being with us. Eating red meat has been linked to cancer and heart disease, but are the risks big enough for you to give up burgers and steak? A team of international researchers says probably not. contradicting established advice. In a series of papers published yesterday, the researchers say the increased risks are small and uncertain, and that cutting back likely wouldn't be worth it for people who enjoy meat. The Associated Press says their conclusions were swiftly attacked by a group of prominent U.S. scientists who took the unusual step of trying to stop publication until their criticisms were addressed. The new work does not say red meat and processed meats like hot dogs and bacon are healthy or that